Hi everyone, this is Pamela, and for the ones that don't know me, I am 32 years old. I am from Venezuela, and if you want to know a little bit more about my story, you can check out my first videos and then you will realize about everything, okay? So today's content is really special for me because that's the reason I started this channel, owing to the fact that it is so necessary to have education about different type of topics, especially when it is about dealing with other human beings. You know, human beings sometimes can be very mean, can be very cruel, but especially very manipulative. And when it comes about money, especially about that, we need to be extra careful. So for that reason today, I wanted to talk about how scammers work when it comes to, taking your money away. And it is not a topic that is only related to money, it is also related to love. However, today's video is going to be focused more on the way they take your money, especially when it comes to these MLM, companies that I wanted to focus today. Why is that? Because of the quarantine that we have, because this year is, we are having a virus that makes many people to stay at home. These companies are taking advantage of the people who need to have extra income, and they talk to you about these things that you need in order for you to work in your house in a very comfortable way, and then you're going to have a lot of income through their company by selling a service or by selling a product, but you need just to call other people for them to allow you to have your own company. There are so many things that are involved in that. So that's why I wanted just to take my time and show you a clip that is going to, let you know how this actually works, for you to think about it twice and even 3 more times before even getting into this type of businesses. So let's check it out, and then you can tell me about your opinion on these types of companies.
In recent years, many companies have successfully utilized so-called multi-level marketing practices. It is important, therefore, to address the differences between a pyramid scheme and a legitimate multi-level marketing company. Initially, it should be noted that pyramid schemes always fail, while multi-level marketing companies sometimes survive. But what are the differences between a legitimate multi-level marketing company and a pyramid scheme? A legitimate multi-level marketing company emphasizes reliable products or services. A pyramid scheme uses products or services to disguise its quest for collecting money from the investors on the bottom levels to pay other investors further up the pyramid. In a typical pyramid scheme, new investors must pay a fee for the right to sell the products or services, as well as for the right to recruit others into the pyramid for rewards unrelated to product sales or services. Very often, the product or services the victim must buy are unsellable, and the pyramid's promoter refuses to repurchase them. On the other hand, legitimate multi-level marketing companies will buy back unsold merchandise, although often as a discount from the original price. Success in multi-level marketing is based on 2 factors: product and service quality, and the hard work involved in being able to sell the products or services. Recruitment of new investors is secondary. But I would like to talk about the 6 principles these scammers use in order to get your money and your time. Number 1. Consistency. The principle of consistency states that we as humans have a need to make our action line up with our stated intentions or beliefs. As Cialdini puts in, once we have made our choice or taken a stand, we will encounter personal and interpersonal pressures to behave consistently with that commitment. Those pressures will cause us to respond in ways that justify our early decisions. For example, Many of you have probably stayed in an unhappy relationship or job just because you've made the commitment to it. Objectively, your situation is making your life very unpleasant. But yet, you stick with that because to break from it means both admitting that you made the wrong choice and also appearing inconsistent. This situation is also an example of the sunk cost fallacy, which, combined with the principle of consistency, can lead to some pretty sorry situations. So to avoid to be under this manipulation tactic, you should ask the following question. Given what I know now, would I make this choice again? If the answer is no, then get yourself the hell out of there. Number 2, reciprocation. The principle of reciprocation states that we should try to repay in kind what another person has provided us. For instance, have you ever walked into a grocery store and seen employees giving out free samples? This isn't just to be nice, it is solid business. By the principle of reciprocation, you will feel obligated to repay the stores for the samples by buying the product you sampled. So think twice before taking that next free brownie. The technical business term from this is building brand awareness. But you better believe these companies are also trying to get you to reciprocate their generosity with future purchases. And if they can get you to use their product consistently, you can see where this is going. If someone is just being nice, let them and be grateful. But if they're trying to manipulate you, you owe them nothing but an empathic no thanks. Number 3, social proof. Marketers, salesperson also take advantage of this principle in more innocuous way all the time. If you've ever seen an ad with testimonials and endorsements from average people just like you, then you've observed an attempt to exploit social proof to sell products. To be fair, there's nothing wrong with actual testimonials. But all too often, commercials will employ paid actors pretending to be average people on the street. While not technically lying, there's usually fine print identifying the people as actor. It is dishonest in the way it exploits spurious social proof. Number 4, authority. Popular culture is large contemptuous of authority, but obedience to authority is something that is ingrained in us from infancy. Trusting authorities in some is usually the way to go. The problem, though, is that it is very easy to seem like an expert authority without actually being one. Whether through fake titles, professional uniform, or just an authority voice and manner, compliance professionals can easily simulate authority in order to get us to agree to their request. Luckily, Cialdini offers 2 simple questions you can ask to decide if someone is using the authority principle to manipulate you. Number 1. Is this authority truly an expert? Number 2. How truthful can we expect the expert to be here? If the answer to both are the affirmative, then rest easy. If not, then get like a Millennium Falcon and make for warp speed. Number 5. Liking. Like all the principles discussed so far, this one seems obvious. And again, it makes sense on the face of it. If someone is behaving in a friendly, likable way, that probably means they aren't about to attack or cheat you. Probably. The classic example of this is the use of car salesmen. A few jokes, a smile, a remark about how, wouldn't you know it? The salesman also has a brother living in Iowa, and before you know it, you've driven off the lot paying far more than you ever intended. And the used car salesman is just one example. Savvy salespeople across a whole host of business are likely to employ this tactic, since it requires little effort and gets big results. Remember that the salesperson selling you something doesn't have your best interest in mind if they're trying to manipulate you into thinking they are your friend. So don't fall for it. Number 6. Scarcity. Limited time offer. Get it now before it's gone. Only one left in stock. These phrases are all attempts to leverage the principles of scarcity, which states that we see scarce things as more valuable than abundant things. In the wrong situations, this can drive us to spend irresponsible amounts of money on objects that we have very little utility to us. It's crucial, therefore, that we learn how to avoid the manipulative influence of this principle. Cialdini proposes a two-stage response to scarcity pressures. Number 1. Notice the signs of a scarcity response. These include strong emotional arousal, increased heart rate, and a general feeling of being on edge. Once you are aware that you're reading emotionally, calm yourself down by taking a few deep breaths. Number 2. Once you've calmed yourself down, decide whether you want the scarce item because of its rarity or because of its function. If you want it because it is rare, that's fine. Just recognize the fact and decide how much you're willing to spend for it. If you want it purely for its function, however, recall that the scarcity of an item will not improve its function. Even if you didn't find it that revelatory, I hope it will at least keep you from getting ripped off by a sleazy car salesman. Or these scammers from the pyramid scheme. So for your reference, here's the list of the principles with a summary of each one of them. Number 1. Consistency. We want our action to line up with our statements and beliefs. Number 2. Reciprocation. If someone does us a favor, we feel the need to pay them back. Number 3. Social proofs. In situations where the correct action is unclear, we look to other people for cues. Number 4. Authority. We tend to trust and follow those with more experience and knowledge. Number 5. Liking. We tend to help people we like. Number 6. Scarcity. Scarce things seems more valuable to us than abundant things. If you maintain your situational awareness, you're far less likely to let others manipulate you.
So it is so necessary to know that before you start a business, you always have to investigate what is it that is needed, maybe in the community you're living, or I don't know, other stuff that you need to take into account, before starting something. But that doesn't mean that you need to be, calling people all the time or dragging them into doing something they do not even believe in, or they do not even want to do. Other thing that I find really irresponsible from this type of people is that in order for them to have a rank in the company, they make people just to borrow money and make them be in debt with others for them just to have a rank, like I already said. And to me, that's really selfish. That's something I do want to avoid from you, and for that reason I took my time to make this clip to let you know that you need to be very carefully, especially in this time where we are in our houses and there are a lot of people offering this type of opportunities that most of the time is more like a way of scamming. So seeing what it is behind this, I hope this video it is really useful for you, and if you find it really interesting, I hope you can subscribe, and I'll be more than grateful, but honestly I'll be more than happy to keep preparing material for you. And like I always say, I do this with all of my love because I do not want you to have the same experience that many people have had, even myself. And see you the next week. Bye bye.